What's up, y'all? Welcome to Say That to Say This. Y'all know it's your host, Jason Watson, man. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all today. Unfortunately, Josh ain't here with us today, but I got a special treat for y'all, man. Excited to have this brother on camera with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Kenny Petty, native of St. Louis. What more can I say?
So I'm related to this guy, y'all. I don't tell everybody that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But this is my big brother, man. Just recently came on staff with us here at Mission St. Louis. Excited to have him by way of Atlanta.
Yes,
you know what I
indeed.
mean? So, but has been in the city, loves the city.
Love it.
Been away how long now, bro?
7 years.
7 years.
Number completion. I'm back.
Man, how does it feel to be back?
Man, amazing, bro.
Amazing.
Really, no cap, amazing.
Wow, that's dope, man. So, getting acclimated with Mission St. Louis, so what brings you back to the city?
Man, well, I mean, a number of reasons. One, man, I've been gone long enough, just on a practical level. Second, man, I miss my family on a second level, but really, man, I got a burden, man. I got a burden for my city. You know, we're going to talk about violence, but I've been a product of a lot of things in this city, man, and so I really want to be a part of the solution to what, you know, a lot of things that I've seen happen and take place and that I was a part of. So I'm back here, man, to be a positive influence, bro.
Absolutely. Well, man, first I just want to thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. We love to hear y'all thoughts as we kind of, you know, unpack some of these conversations, some of these topics. And we love to hear what y'all would like to hear us talk about, what y'all want to hear us bring to the table. So leave some ideas and conversations that y'all want us to have, discussions y'all like to see us kind of bring forth, and we love to tap in. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Also, make sure you share, man. Make sure you let everybody else know about the podcast, what's going on with it, especially if it's something that kind of captures you. So today, man, we're going to talk a little bit about violence, man, and the experience of violence. One, our personal experiences with violence. Number two, how that plays out in the community and the city that we love. But then number three, for the youth, how are the youth impacted by violence? And here in a few minutes, I'm going to be bringing on some guests that have just recently kind of joined the Mission St. Louis team for the summer, and they'll kind of talk about things from their perspective. But I just want to start with kind of where we are. So, bro, coming from Atlanta, coming to St. Louis, when you think about the violence that exists in the city now, like, you know, you come up in the 90s, the 80s, Ooh. Like, do you see a difference between what you see going on now and what was happening when you were coming up?
You know what, bro? I mean, obviously, I'm at a different place in life, a lot older. So I was out there. Back in the 90s, I was in it. So it was real intense. Now I'm just like hearing about it. I'm seeing it. And to be honest, man, violence is crazy in any shape or form, but it almost seemed like it was somewhat of a structure or to the violence. Not a reason for it, but it was more structure to it. It was more strategic in what you did, how it was done. To me now, it seems more sporadic, more stuff that's like, just like, man, like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Although, like I said, there's no right way to do violence in a city. It was just, it's just different, dog.
Interesting. So when I think about my experiences, one of the things that I was talking to a friend saying, like, I don't even know how often I use the word violent. Like, I don't know if I often associate things that take place with the word violence.
Wow.
It's a word that I feel like I don't use that often. Like, I've been in a lot of violent situations, and I didn't leave like, man, that was a violent experience. Like, I don't even feel like that word is really a part of our vocabulary.
It's not.
And one of the things that it makes me think about is that due to the numbness of the experiences, like, we don't consider something violence sounds like, oh my God, like something just happened. But, you know, I done seen people lose their life in front of me, all of that, and never deemed it or coined it as something that was violent, even though I understood it to be so.
That's crazy, bro, because now that you're talking, I think about really how to handle violence and how to handle these things as part of the maturation process of any man growing up in a city, particularly in our city. We learn how to cope with it. We learn how to handle it. We know how to handle our business, going from the hands to the guns. All of that is part of the maturation process if you really out here in this community like we was, or in the streets like we was.
That's good. Well, man, it's impossible, I feel like, to have a honest and authentic conversation about violence and experiences of violence without having those who represent a younger generation and their experiences to make that conversation be full circle. So I'm gonna introduce a couple young men. I actually just met these young men today, and I'm already impressed with who they are and their ability to communicate. But I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. So, fellas, could y'all just share your name, share your age, where you grew up at, and how you ended up here today?
I'm TreShawn, and I'm 16, and I turned 17 in August. And I grew up in like a lot of places. I'm from Illinois. I was born in Illinois in the county, and we moved to St. Louis with our stepdad, and we came here because our mom works up at the job where it's Slate.
Dope.
That's what's up.
That's how we found out about this program.
Okay.
Hello, my name is TreVon. I'm 16 as well because we're twins. So we basically the same story that you said.
So y'all not seeing double. They not the same person. They are definitely twins. Y'all are how old?
16. We 16. We turned 17 in August.
17 in August. He done said that like 5 times since he been here. He is excited to be 17, y'all.
Take it
I'm pretty much
slow.
17 though.
You are pretty much 17. Facts. You are there. You are definitely there. But man, I wanted to bring y'all into the conversation because off camera, we were able to talk about a few things and just kind of hear some of y'all perspectives. So I guess my first question to y'all would be, have you experienced violence? No, let me rewind. What's y'all perspective of some of the violence that y'all see? Like individuals y'all age, like what's y'all perspective of it? Do you feel like dudes just wilding out don't care? Do you feel like it's a reason behind it? What's your thoughts when you think about your friends who might be out here moving a little differently than you? You think about your experiences. How are y'all feeling about violence right now?
I think most people like they're violent or they're wilding, like as you say, it's because of the environment they grew up in and the people they're around and the people that inspired them to be that way, or something, or not even that, something happened to them and they feel like they have to do something about it, or they feel like they have to evolve in their environment to be the best than their enemy. So now, and plus most people, they don't really get as much as most people get. Like some people might have the best clothes and some people don't, and they wish they had it. So they'll go in and they'll either rob somebody or they'll try to get some money some type of way because they either can't get a job or they don't want a job.
That's good.
And also, like I would say, is that most of the people they're not themselves. They're like controlled by the media and rap music that they listen to, because it's like the message, like music has like a big impact on your life. The type of music you listen to is basically like the type of person you would be. Yeah. So basically, they are basically a clone of what they are listening to, because the people that are putting these words into their heads that, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta get my revenge back or something, or
Yeah, because
like something like that.
because music does influence people. Because if you listen to a certain type of music and then like say for example you listen to calm music, you feel good inside, and then you listen to people talking about guns, let's go do a drill and all that, and then in your mind that's influencing you.
So how do y'all? So I'm assuming like y'all listen to music that ain't just good music. So how does that music not have that influence on you? Like from where y'all sit, why y'all ain't out here doing that same stuff? If y'all listen to the same music,
I don't really listen to that type of music all the time. I still listen to it because I like the beat up and I like the vibe, the vibe it gives me. But like the type of music I listen to is depending on what type of mood I'm in.
Okay.
So look, talk about this. All right, so y'all live in the hood, or what would be considered the hood, right? And we were talking earlier, and I asked y'all like, how do y'all catch the bus? Like, do you feel scared when you going through North St. Louis? If so, why not? You know what I mean? And then you talked a little. So let's start there. Like living in an environment that you live in, like, do you feel safe? And if you feel safe, why do you feel safe in the environment that you live in?
I mean, like with me, I think it's like kind of my ego that it's like if somebody do something to me, like me, I work hard, do push-ups, I box, and stuff. So like I feel like that I don't have to worry about nothing. So like me, I don't like feel any type of emotion, even though that I'm not looking at the bigger pictures that I could get shot or other stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like I just don't think at the time. So like I don't really feel any emotion about it. I just feel fine.
That's good.
Yeah, but yeah. Same with me, but except ever since I got robbed, I've been on my stuff. So I've been looking out for myself, make sure that stuff won't
So
happen
talk
again,
about
or
that
they won't-
situation. You got robbed. What happened in that circumstance?
Like the story of how it happened.
Yeah.
So like I was walking home from the library, and then the dude they saw my Louis bag. So I wasn't paying them no attention that much for real, and I kept walking, and then all of a sudden I see they car, and he pulling up and he doing this, and then he pull up in front of me on the he parked in front of me on the side, in the street. I was walking on the sidewalk, and then he asked me did I want to buy some weed, and I said nah, and then he started saying some stuff about some number, like about a phone number or something, and then he had his gun like this. Then he got up with a gun, and he put it to my stomach, and he said, "Give me that bag, bro." Then he started like pressuring me, like yelling at me, talking about something. This gun hit and all that. And then like during that situation, I didn't really feel no emotion. Like it was just my adrenaline. Like I didn't feel scared of nothing. So I just gave him the bag, and then he tried to take my phone, and then he was asking for the code, and I told him, but the code wasn't working, and he kept trying to pressure me to give him the code, and then he just took the phone and then started talking about something. All you had to do was just give me the password.
So after that moment, how did you feel? Like
was mad.
you was more mad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I just wanted to I wish I had a car. Oh yeah, and a gun or something, and I go back there and get my stuff. Like that's how mad I was. Like I'm not like that at all, but ever since like during that time, that like a thing in my head just switched.
So check.
I ain't care about nothing else.
And so that was the first thought and you did you think about like, man, I'm gonna call the police or
Nah.
See, we don't think like that, dude.
Nah.
We think like, hey, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
first
like,
response, because
it
it's
just
so, it's
yeah.
like that ain't a part of the equation. The police, it's like either I'm gonna suck it up, suppress the anger, the hurt, even some of the fear, or I'm going back and I'm gonna get it.
First thought is retaliation, right?
Yeah.
Like you did something to me, let me get my get back. What's interesting when you think about that though, that's not everybody normal response. You know what I mean? Some people is like, hey, let me call the police, somebody come do this. But like through how we grow up and in our environments, one thing we learn is fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
Right? So, we hear gunshots, we run to the window.
Yeah.
We don't run to the back. You know what I'm saying? We like, who's shooting?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that we've been taught in our environments because we used to that type of environment.
Yeah, because I seen like in the projects, the people in the projects way different. Like I've been around people that's been in the projects like when I was younger, then I moved around to like a more like it's not in the projects, but it was still the hood area, but it wasn't as bad as the projects. Right. And I seen most people out there can't control themselves, and they moms leave their kids to go to a club, and then their kids going to other people's houses, got to sleep with a stranger or something.
Right.
And then they mom, like they mom don't really care what they do, like the stuff that they do. And the way that they talk to their parents, my mom would not let that slide.
So talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about y'all upbringing, like, because y'all seem to be, I mean, I know we grow up in environments, so we got the tendency to do all types. So I ain't trying to paint it like y'all just do everything right. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm assuming that y'all upbringing, like your mother, your father, your stepfather, has played a role in who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? Like, because me, you how old?
I'm 16.
16? At 16, I wouldn't have just I would have went and found dude and shot him. Like, because I was in a whole nother space when I was 16. Right. I'm not saying that's good, what I'm saying is what y'all possess, what's in y'all. Like, how did your mother and father play a role in that? Like, what do you remember growing up? What did you expect? Like, they help you had a mindset that y'all have. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure y'all done some things, but something that kept y'all from going as far as y'all could go. What do y'all feel like that is when you think about your parents and that role?
I think because like we used to get in trouble so much, and our mom used to always call us dumb or telling us we not gonna be nothing. And I used to always think, nah, I'm gonna be something. And I'm gonna show her that I'm gonna be something.
That's what's up. What about you, dog?
I would say is that
It's like with a lot of parents, they don't understand is that they have to let their children grow up. Like some parents might disagree with what the child is growing up to be, but then that and then they will be like, no, do this, I want you to do that. But if you just leave them alone, you never know, their courses might change. Cause like with me, I used to want to do a lot of stuff that my parents didn't agree with, but that whole denominator just changed.
What
Like
changed it?
it all like it all came with me just growing up and expanding my knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, were you exposed to something that helped you expand your knowledge? Because what about somebody who don't like? What helped you expand? What helped you get to that point? You know, you went through that process. What got you to that point where you like, you know what? I ain't even on that like that. What are some things that played a role in that?
It's like it's like seeing a lot of people doing the same thing. Like me, I always wanted to be different from everybody else.
Yeah.
So like I would separate myself from everybody else. So that's what made me stand out more. Like
Yeah.
people like they would talk about how I dressed in school or like like stuff.
Yeah, like you
that
got the
they'll
turban
say it to
on,
you.
like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and say that you not this or you not that. But like me, that's what made me who I am and kept me up and basically made me the better person that I am right now. Because the people that what they are is like they're not happy with themselves. That's the reason why they hate on me. Yeah, and stuff like that.
I want to touch on something, man. Kind of switch it back to when you said, like, I'm preparing myself maybe for if I had to throw them. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Like I do push-ups. Like I know when we was coming up, Jay, it was a period in time, early '90s maybe, where you could give a cat a fade or you could
Right,
throw
you
'em.
gonna
And
fight.
and it was just inevitable. I mean, fighting was the violence. The violence would escalate maybe to, okay, I'm getting my brother, and we all gonna bang it out. Then it got to a point where it's like somebody gonna get shot.
Right.
Like you ain't just finna take no whipping. Ain't gonna. And I feel like now, do y'all like in y'all generation like fights or they as common? And when they do fight, is it like man somebody coming back with a gun?
Yeah. Cause at school, at Sodan, I'm pretty much most people seen it on the news. Like we had about 15 fights in a whole year, and some parents came up to the school, brought their guns and all that. We always had the police up there,
Yeah.
and they used to be fighting over the dumbest stuff that's not even worth fighting about.
Wow.
You ready to kill somebody? Like say for example over a whole dude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not gonna do nothing for you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I do agree with that. We did fight a lot more when I fought like we used to fight. You lose a fight, you gonna fight the same dude till you win.
Yeah.
Like and
Or until he respects you.
or
enough
until he
that-
respects you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So fighting was mandatory and dudes didn't come back. Like we would have whole hood fights.
Fights.
Like no gun ever
gun
came
ever
up.
came
Nobody ever did nothing.
Did y'all
Like
have stabbing?
nah, like it did.
not
It
really
wasn't
no
a lot of
shank. Nah,
stabbing.
nobody wasn't shanking.
Like it was a lot of bro. I fought so much in school. Like I got put out of school all the time for fighting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but at that early age, I don't remember there being guns involved. It just was like you lose and it taught you something though, like to lose a. Yeah, I ain't saying it's the answer, but I feel like if mugs fought more and shot less, it'd be a much better world, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But what would happen is you would have that fight, boom, and then over the course of time, you might become friends with somebody.
No doubt.
But it taught you how to take an L. You know what I'm saying? It taught you that just because you lose don't mean that life is over. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it is certain lessons I feel like that it brought that came up with it. Yeah. And I done lost fights. You know, I remember getting whooped in school one time. Right. But the thought wasn't, hey, when I see dude, I'm going to kill him. You know what I'm saying? My thought was next time I'm going to whoop him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Was my mindset.
And I did see you maturate to them hands you pretty good with. And people can testify to that. That's just a note.
That's true. That's true. I could throw these hands.
But also, bro, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but what's interesting for those that might be watching, it's many of people who've never had a fight in their life. Yeah. They've grown up in environments where, you know, for us, if you go to a different school or you move to a different neighborhood, you're going to fight. Right. In St. Louis, I don't care what school you go to, you know you probably going to have a fight. Especially if you move from one neighborhood to another neighborhood, you know you going to fight. Right. And my mama wasn't stable, so I moved 100 times in my life. And everywhere I moved to, I had to fight.
Gotta fight.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you was finna ask a question?
But no, I was just saying, but also, we remember how that shift where cats was like, hey, no more of that, you know, I mean, still fight, but you know you got to be prepared. You got to also be prepared for what's going to happen after you know you whoop a cat. You know that this might not go well, or this could cause, like I said, this may fester into something big. I know a lot of hood beefs that done, like you said, started over stupid stuff, but once the ball get rolling, it ain't about it was stupid when it started. It's like somebody done got shot and somebody finna get shot on their side, blase, blah, that's how it is.
For somebody watching, one thing that I would explain, and y'all may be able to attest to this as well, and one of the reasons that I think some of the violence exists to the extremity and the way in which it does is because it's possible for me to go to the store and run into the person who killed my brother. Yeah. Run into the person who killed my cousin. Run into the person who killed my best friend, because we all still in the same neighborhood, you know, and I'm not saying hurting or taking life or any of that is okay. I'm saying as a human, anybody watching this, if you just happen to go to the store and you see the person who killed your brother,
no doubt,
what's your natural human response? Right. You know, so you got that piece on top of immature individuals with firearms. So now I got a firearm. I'm 14, 15, 16 years old. I don't know how to manage my emotions. The clip longer than my leg, and I see the person who killed my brother. Or I see the person who's related to the person that killed my brother. Yeah, or I see so those are the things I feel like that keep some of these beasts going. And that's what make it difficult, I feel like, sometimes to rectify some of those issues, because once blood is shed, it's hard. It's hard to say, man, let's sit. My sister was murdered. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling of you wanting to, like you talk about somebody robbing you, and we done been robbed. We done been laid in the middle of
in the street.
In the middle of the street with guns to our heads. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but ain't that funny? We was in a whole nother mindset. After that, we was like,
that's
thank
crazy.
you, Lord. It was like we didn't get killed. It wasn't like we didn't have really no mindset to go back and kill. But that was but that's another story.
That's good. So when y'all think about violence, like, what about solutions? As young men, like, when you...
Well, before you go there, just add on to, like, what you said about just your natural response. Like, I think, bro, like, if you notice, like, and when I was coming up, everything emotionally that happened, we responded violently. I remember, like, if it's a funeral, people we just don't know how to handle emotions. I'm
going to get them suckers back before you bury.
Yeah, but you sad. Even like girls, like they be sad because of the hurt of a loss. And next thing you know, they fighting at the funeral. Because everything like, man, any emotional distress, instead of dealing with it in whatever proper way, we don't learn that. The one thing we learn, like, I'm going to express this, or I'm going to get this off through, like, violence. I'm going to hit somebody, do something, because this is the only expression I know to deal with pain, really.
Basically the idea is that wherever our emotions take us, we willing to go. You know what I mean? And often, because we only taught either you happy or you mad. Like, we don't know no in-between ground, right? So anytime we feel upset, like, you know, we make statements like, that's just how I am. Right. I just did so-and-so. Right. When in reality, that's how your mind has been wired. Right. So I feel like we respond with extreme violence because we used to either we feel like we're going to experience that same level of violence. Like if I come in contact with somebody, I already know, like right now to this day, I know if I argue with a dude, it's probably gonna be a pistol pulled out. So your mindset already set like, I'm gonna have to kill whoever this is. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you walk into the situation like that. You know what I'm saying? But I guess my question for y'all, like when you think about everything going on downtown, I don't know if y'all be hanging out downtown. It's a lot of conversations about kids being downtown, the violence, shooting, stuff like that. When y'all think about solutions, like what do you feel like is the answer for y'all generation? Or do you feel like you have some answers?
For violence.
Yep, just violence that you see, the experiences that they having, the things that they going through, like whatever you feel like is causing it. So it don't got to be the violence directly. It could simply be like what some of them experiencing and going through.
Like I would say, it's like I don't have the full reasoning for the violence, but like I say like how like the white people solve the problem. It's basically like, so like up there where all the white people, all the nice stuff. It's like all they have to do, like if there's black ignorant people living in their neighborhoods, all they have to do is just raise the price. Then then every person that can't pay the bills, which is most of them are black, they move down here.
Yeah, that's
why
how they control it.
Yeah, and that's why you see like a lot of fast food restaurants is bad for you. Then they feed all this bad stuff to you, and they have all these nice restaurants and stuff, and they get to eat all nice and healthy.
Wow.
So you seeing like liquor stores on all
Right,
the
yeah.
corners and
Yeah, because if you go to the
stuff like that.
if you go down into the suburbs, you see way better quality food. You see restaurants. You don't see none of that stuff down here.
Might be a factor in the vibe, like all this sugar and
Yeah. They put stuff in our food. They put sugar, a whole bunch of sugar, because a lot of this stuff that's in our food is not actually on the box.
okay, these young brothers, kind of deep.
So y'all feel like seeing some of those things, growing up in those environments and recognizing like ain't no food in my neighborhood, or recognizing like
that's why I don't want to be like these people that be in the streets and stuff. I want to actually get out of St. Louis because I know a lot of rich people come here just to buy up all the houses to have black people rent it out, and that's how they make their millions, and that's how they make their money. Right. So St. Louis is pretty much just a market.
And also like I want to say is that from the age like when you turn as a grown man 20, 21, it's like your brain, your frontal lobe of your brain is not fully developed. So that's why like when you're young, you're basically vulnerable to everything you see.
Yeah.
They're just like with the LGBTQ community, they're trying to groom these children.
Yeah.
So like when they grow up, like their mind like is this is true. Is like it's already stuck to that thing. That's how I would say like with the black community, like with the music, with the bad influences, their minds are very vulnerable to it. So like it's like they can't control it. So it's not their fault that they react that way because they were programmed to react.
Because growing up, your mind is on basically record, and technically when you grow up, you have these habits, like you have an identity that you identify with, but it's not really you, it's your ego. So like say you say, like just for example, you say, I really don't want to be late to my son's basketball game. But what's wrong with being late to a basketball game? It's your ego that's telling you that you can't be late because the way you see yourself.
So you choose not to go at all when really you was just late. You still could have showed up.
No, I'm saying like you're late. Like you saying you don't want to be late. Like you can't be late. Yeah.
You know, what I hear is some parents who have done some good teaching. You asked a question about some parents, like these cats, this say you just grow to understand these. And I think that's dope, man, what y'all saying. And I think, y'all saying some very profound and enlightening stuff, man. That's deep. And So I appreciate y'all, man.
Definitely. What would y'all say for the people that's watching, like that may not understand youth, where they are, the decision making? Like for y'all, what's some things you feel like was helpful for y'all or would be helpful for y'all being at the age y'all, like that pivotal place you say y'all was in where, man, we could choose to do this, we could choose to do that. Like, what are things for the people that say, man, we want to help y'all, not just y'all, but just youth overall? You know what I'm saying? And they like, but we don't know what to do. What's some things you would say helped you, filter through some of those things? Like, or what are some things that would help you now?
Like I would say, you have to put yourself around the right people in order to in order to be successful. If you just like if you want to be a good athlete or a bodybuilder, you have to put yourself around people that do bodybuilding. You will become the most successful person that you are. Just like if you want to learn how to make money, you have to put yourself around millionaires.
But what happens if you
also-
don't know those people? So what have you done personally? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So like you have to invest in yourself. So you have to invest to be around certain people. It costs money to make money.
Who taught you that?
I've studied this.
Well, who taught you that you should study it?
Me, because because I want to be successful in life. I don't want to be normal and living in a poor place all my life.
I agree.
I want to make sure my kids can live a good life, a better life than I live. And because I know there's better things in life than St. Louis. I know life is more beautiful, and I want to travel the world, and I want to see different things rather than.
But y'all ain't who
same
imported this into y'all. Right. Y'all ain't learned where you learn this from. Who trained you to think
I just
that way?
seen it from like just seeing it. Right.
Who did you see?
So basically,
Intuitively, y'all saying y'all just.
So basically, like how people use the internet for just entertainment,
Yeah,
and for the bad influences. Well, we use internet for the opposite, the good influence.
So okay, let me ask you a question. You live with your mother, right?
yes.
Father too.
No, we go over our father's house.
What your father do?
Our father, he's a truck driver and he's a DJ.
DJ. Okay.
Yes.
What your mom do?
She's a security.
She, at the headquarters, she
Yeah, the
does
headquarters.
security at the front.
Okay.
Okay.
Our
Gotcha.
stepdad's a sheriff.
Well, this is one of the questions I got. So when I was coming up, and when you talk about violence, like I was taught a lot of what I knew in a negative way from what we call our OGs or dudes who just would take you under their wing, and kind of really important to you how to survive, how to do what how to make money or whatever the case may be. So I always like to ask a question because I think even though I see y'all self-sufficient young men, but everybody needs somebody. So as a dude, me and Jay sitting here, we like our mindset is like, man, we want to serve the next generation so they don't fall into the traps that we fell in, or we want to be good OGs, so to speak, to impart some things that are good that's gonna help y'all be the success y'all want to be. So if I'm just asking a simple question, what do y'all need from us? And speaking of not just me and Jay, but from dudes who are from an older generation that could probably assist y'all, what is it that you would say you need from us or would want from us? How could we assist?
What could we
y'all?
help you with? What could we provide, assist, give, impart that could help you get to that place of success?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is real because we want to be that. Because sometimes we think we know what you need. And like we just saying like if and ain't no limit to it. Say what do you think you need, or that could benefit you that we
So like I would say, if you look at the villages like in Africa and look at our neighborhoods, the villages in Africa, they're like their whole village look after every single children. So because the saying, it takes a whole village to raise the children.
Okay.
Just like over here, it takes a whole street to raise the children. If there's just only one parent just looking out for one children, and the other children,
Or just neglected or just kind of
yeah,
unattended
like,
to.
because like some parents are addicted to any drug or something, and like the parent, and then the
Wow.
The neighbor.
child grows up, and then that one child can affect every single child in the neighborhood. Like say cause like what I said earlier, that the mind is vulnerable, vulnerable. It's like it's like the child could be like, yeah, come try some of this, or smoking weed, cause like how like the rappers smoke weeds and all this other stuff, and they would be like their favorite rapper,
influence.
so they start smoking weed. It's like a bad influences that needs to be changed and taken out of the community.
It's good. You got anything to add to that?
About the because didn't he get off track?
Well, he was stayed on track because what I heard him saying was, man, in these communities we need the whole neighborhood to like, don't just be responsible for your child.
Yeah.
Be responsible for the
Take
child next door
responsibility for the
too.
block. I
Love
get
on
that.
them, care for them,
I
be
get
there for
that.
them. If you recognize that they mother a drug addict, step in, support them, love on them.
Because it was like that.
Definitely.
It was like, and then you bring you some history. You go back to Africa, but you can go back to when we was kids. Like, it wasn't no problem. It wasn't no hungry kid on the block.
Right.
Back when we was kids, I'm talking about 80s, earlier. There wasn't no hungry kid on the block. I just saw Monty the other day, and I remember his mama used to, man, I could go over there and eat anytime.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. That's dope. So
What about you?
So what's your thought? Don't trip off him. What you was
Of
thinking?
of how we can help the community.
Basically, now, what is it you need from, as somebody who's 16, looking at people that's older than you who feel like they know what you need? What would you say you need? Like, man, if you 30, 40, 50, whatever, what we need from y'all is this. We need these type of opportunities. We need this. We need.
Yeah.
What would that be for you?
I think people would need different opportunities
Mm.
Okay.
because they've been in a environment where there's not many opportunities but to do what they see other people do,
Mm.
or they try to be like their father
Mm.
that does those bad things, or their father wasn't in their life,
Mm.
It's a whole nother issue right there.
Yeah, definitely.
To the violence, fatherless.
and included on top of their ego that they build over the years of growing up.
Mm. Well, man, I just want to say thank y'all to y'all, man. And just one of the things I want y'all to know is y'all are valuable. If ain't nobody told y'all that,
sure.
y'all got something to offer the world, man. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Every now and then, I always realize like the type of person I am, and I realize that I'm a special individual human being because I'm not like anyone else. Like, I purposely change the way that I think and the stuff that I do because I don't want to do what everyone else does.
Right.
Because then I'll get the same result that they get,
mm,
and I want to be successful financially and everything that I can accomplish because there's you can always do better in every field,
Right.
and I want to do better in all of them, and I can't achieve that if I'm being like everyone else.
I agree, man. And I think when you saying you special, man, I affirm that. For you brothers, y'all do have unique mindsets. For 16, I'm like, dang, when I was 16, I wasn't thinking this way. But also, there is a mentality that I think we lot have when we think about success. So as you mature and as you grow, think of success not only as what I'm going to attain for myself and wealth and so forth. Because like you said, when I ask the question, what do you need, like your generation needs you too. You know what I'm saying? And part of the thing when we work here in Mission St. Louis, my ask is always, man, we'll help do whatever. We bring you in, you got access to all this. The only ask we have is that you do the same. Think sometimes outside of yourself, because the reality is, man, true success is not obtained when you on the mountain by yourself.
Yeah.
Success is when you can help
Yeah.
pull others
Gotcha.
up with you. You know what I'm saying? And not just people that's low-hanging fruit. I'm talking about the people that we think about, like my brother here, who probably in the hood people would think he wouldn't be nothing. But now he's executive here at Mission St. Louis because, there's value in everybody. Everybody has value. Everybody got a story. So just a little something, I just want to leave you with.
And also, if you want to be able to if you want to be able to start being a disciplined and a successful human being, I would suggest like learning languages, cause like me, I'm learning how to speak Arabic. Which is the reason why like it's like the reason why like, I kind of stumble over my words, cause it's like
You all
different.
in a different
Yeah,
language.
and I'm also trying to learn French,
Say
and
some Arabic
Swahili.
right now. Tell them
So-
hello,
Somali.
everybody in America. No, I'm just
You want me?
Yeah.
Marhaba, marhaba.
Mahava.
Yes, marhaba. Marhaba bika is for a female. Marhaba bika is for a male. And I can speak French too.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
So y'all started doing that on y'all own.
Yes.
Nobody told y'all to do this.
Yourself.
And I can speak a little bit of Rhonda.
Wow.
Yes.
This is incredible. Okay.
So why did you say they should
sorry.
start? Finish their thought.
Because it's like when learning the language, it takes discipline and consistency, and what you like. If you want to start doing something that you really want to do, you will have to be a good at being consistent and good at being independent, because it takes like about like 2 years to learn a language, and not a lot of people. Usually, people just give up or they just forget about the whole language. But that's like a pillar to it. To first off start learning a language, and also what I want to add on is like start like being disciplined and keeping a clean environment.
And I believe
like,
it's hard for people to be disciplined. Like for the people that's hard for it to be disciplined and consistent, it's because their brain isn't used to waking up and doing this habit that they're trying to implement into themselves every day. That's why you see the fat kid that just plays games all day, but they have a hard time taking the trash out. Something simple as that. They don't want to do that. They just want to play the game because that's what they're used to, and that's what they grew up doing. So then, if you try to change that, it's going to be hard for them to. So they have to take their dopamine's too high. So they have to take back control over their own brain, because your brain influences.
Man, don't tell me my people ain't fire. Don't tell me it ain't no black kids in the middle of the hood that use their brains. You can't tell me that. Don't tell me ain't nothing in North St. Louis, dog. You can't tell me ain't nothing in North St. Louis. Right. You can't tell me it ain't nothing of value in North St. Louis. You can't tell me every kid in the inner city throwing their life away. You can't tell me don't none of them care, because I get blessed to be around individuals like y'all. And y'all motivate me. Because when I feel like what I'm doing ain't working, you know what I'm saying? Or when I feel like I'm making investments that I don't get to see the fruit of, y'all come walk into my building, and then I hear y'all, and then I'm re-energized to keep doing what I'm doing. I want y'all to know, like, y'all, even if y'all feel some level of influence from us, that y'all role is important too.
No doubt.
You know, in reminding us, you know what I mean? I know y'all exist. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all out here. You know what I mean? Like, I never questioned it. But just to have that reminder, and even for individuals watching, like, these young men are a testament. Like, maybe you come from an environment that is not where we are from, and you have a perspective about this environment, right? And about the individuals who live in that environment. Well, when you make that blanket perspective, you talking about these two young men too. You know what I mean? When you're assuming that everybody in that environment wants to be involved with that violence, you're talking about these two young men too, who not only can articulate where they are, right, but they understand where they are and where they want to be. I say that to say that just because these young men, including myself and my brother, grew up in these environments, have been subject to some of these things, doesn't necessarily mean that we've wanted to be. Some of us can't help where we grew up at. Right. You know what I mean? We can't help that my mama was raised in North St. Louis. Some of us ain't got nothing to do with that. Even though structurally it may have been something greater at work is the reason that my mama was there. I say that to say this. When I think about young men like these young men, and I think about, you could just hear them talk. You could hear their hearts, you could hear their minds, you could hear their thoughts. You know, like, these are the men and women, because it's many of them. They not the only ones. I don't want to make it like they unicorns. It's a lot of them in these neighborhoods. And I just want to make sure that when we talking about addressing violence and dealing with violence, that we're not just thinking about the individuals who are doing these things. Right. That we're also thinking about individuals like them who are subject to the violence that's going on around them, even though they don't want to be a part of it. you know, a victim of that violence, even though he's not participating in it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important for us to grasp, because it's easy to look at North St. Louis, West St. Louis, South St. Louis, look at downtown and assume that every kid you see downtown look like them. Or assume that every kid that look like them is a kid that's downtown. And you find out from their thoughts, their heart, their passion, their own ability to communicate, that that's not necessarily the truth.
No doubt.
So, man, I just want to thank y'all for joining us. Thank everybody for watching, man. Y'all did it. I'm blown. I just met these dudes today. And what's crazy is, I just got to say this, I just threw them on camera because I was having a conversation with them prior to and just felt like it was, I didn't even know all this was inside these dudes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lesson even for even those watching. You never know who you laying your eyes on. You never know what's inside of a person. What's being birthed inside of them, what's being molded inside of them. So I want y'all to know I'm hugely encouraged, you know what I'm saying, and excited. I'm even more excited to work with y'all this summer. You know what I mean? So thank y'all for y'all contribution, man, and
Thank you.
thank everybody. For sure. So we out, man. Say that to say this again. Like, comment, subscribe. Do me a favor. Can y'all send these young brothers some encouraging words, like stuff that they said that stood out? Can y'all be intentional about doing that and dropping some in the comment section so these brothers can read it later on and be encouraged to keep doing what they doing, because we need them. We need y'all.
No doubt.
For sure. Holla.
Peace.